Okay.
Il y a des accents bizarres en anglais. Moi, j'avais mon truc.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this pre-match press conference with Paris Saint-Germain. We will start with the players Marquinhos and Ousmane Dembele. And then we will follow up with the head coach. Languages that we have available are English, Spanish, French, Italian, and German for translation. Please indicate your name when you raise a hand and the name of your organization. One question only, please. Julien?
Bonjour à toutes et à tous. Nous allons commencer.
Good afternoon, everyone. Evening, everyone. We're going to start with questions for Ousmane Dembele, and then we'll be moving on to Marquinhos. Away you go. Good evening, Ousmane. I am from L'Equipe. What does this mean to you? You're in the final of the Champions League. This season wasn't always an easy ride, especially if we think about the beginning of your season. Can you talk us through how you're feeling at the moment ahead of this Champions League final? Good evening. So, as I mentioned, and I feel like a stuck record at the moment, but I feel so proud of being here in the Champions League final. We have worked really hard. It's not always been easy. As you mentioned, we got off to a shaky start in the Champions League, but we were able to really make that difference, especially in the second half of the season. It's absolutely exceptional to be here in Munich for the Champions League final. It is. I'm not sure if you've seen me in other times like this, but I can be quite serious, but it's also a very joyful time. Thank you. Good evening, Ousmane. I'm over here. Thank you for L'Equipe. I imagine that we'll probably be talking about this, that this is capital importance for you on an individual basis because you're on the quest for the Ballon d'Or. Is this something that's looming in the back of your mind? Do you think that this obviously is the Champions League final more important to you than the Ballon d'Or? Once again, I'm repeating myself, and I feel like the same questions have been asked several times now, but when you're a PSG player, what's important for us is to take home the silverware for the Champions League. I'm focused on the team and not on individual trophies that I may win. Obviously, this maybe is in the back of my mind, but this is something that I can really put to one side to focus on us as a team. Good evening, Ousmane over here. Alice Lefebvre from AFP. In November here, you were actually sent off, and a couple of weeks ago you weren't called up for the game against Arsenal. What's changed since the beginning of the season against Bayern Munich? Yeah, it wasn't an easy ride when it comes to the game against Bayern Munich. It's always a difficult stadium to come to, but that's part and parcel of football. It was a difficult moment for me from a performance standpoint, but I've been able to kick things up a notch. The team has also been able to up the ante, and I'm delighted with everything that we've done to get here and everything that we've been doing, especially since January. We really had a change of mindset, and we're going to try and continue and bag that victory. Good evening, Ousmane. Over here, Stéphane from Le Parisien. We've been talking about emotional control a lot, especially when it comes to a final. So I imagine that keeping a cool head will be important tomorrow. But what are you doing on a personal basis? What are you doing to kind of let off steam or maybe keep those emotions inside? It's a great question. I think that, yeah, you need to keep a cool head. We know that there is a lot of excitement generated around Champions League final, and we are very excited. But as has been mentioned, we need to keep a cool head. We need to be calm, cool, collected, serious, but smiling, because this is an incredible moment for us. But yeah, it's about having a hand over our emotions, and I think that that will be one of the keys to winning the game tomorrow. Thank you. Good evening, Ousmane, over here for Radio France. You are actually going to be coming up against Benjamin Pavard, who plays with you for the French national team. Do you think that this is going to work in your favor or against you? No, I'm happy to find them or to come up against them in the Champions League. They've had a great season as well. And Pavard is a great player. He's difficult to get past. He's an intelligent player, but I hope that tomorrow will not be a great day for him, but a great day for us instead. But I'm happy to be coming up against him in the final. Good evening, Ousmane, Philippe for RTL. I imagine that you have studied the ins and outs of Inter Milan. I guess that you've gone through their performances with a fine-tooth comb. What do you think is different with Inter Milan compared to other opponents you've come up against, and how do you think that how do you think you're going to win? As I've mentioned before, Inter Milan is a wonderful team that deserves their place in the final. They've been playing for 4 or 5 years now, this current squad. It's a team that is very physical. They know how to defend. They know how to get up front. They know how to keep the ball. They know how to give other teams a run for their money. So we need to get our head down and keep our heads down until the end of the game, because you take your eye off the ball for a second and that's where they hurt you. They're a great team, so we're going to have to really pull out all the stops. From RMC Sports over here, you've played other finals, especially in 2018 and 2023 with the French national team. What have you learned from these experiences, and what have you been doing to prepare yourself this week? So yeah, there was one final in 2018 where everything went exactly to plan for the French national team, and a second where I wasn't good at all. But that's once again part and parcel of football. Here I'm preparing for a Champions League final. This has been a dream of mine since I was a child. I am very serious, I'm very concentrated, I'm very calm as well. But this will be an unforgettable moment, and I just hope that I'll be able to focus on the team, on the game, not just on me. As I mentioned, the whole group is preparing very well, and I hope that tomorrow will be history in the making.
Tadne Shaoshadze, Ultra News from Georgia town. First of all, what will be your main key to win tomorrow game, and what can you say about Khvicha Kvaratskhelia? How it's comfortable to play with him in the pitch, and what can you say your attack? What can do tomorrow game? Thank you.
De la stratégie, on va pas en parler.
No, I can't tell you what we're going to be doing tomorrow as our strategy in a press conference, but Kvaratskhelia is a wonderful player. He has fit in really well to the team, but I don't think that it's actually that hard to fit in with the Paris team. He's a player that's got loads of talent. He's a player that is hard worker. He gets his head around things very quickly, and he was welcomed with open arms in PSG. I keep repeating myself, but for tomorrow will be a very tense game, and we just need to keep a hand over our emotions, especially given that we're going to be playing a Champions League final. That we know that Paris will be vibrating with excitement tomorrow, but we've been trying to keep a hand over our emotions since the beginning of the week now. Thank you. Good evening, Ousmane. Tactically speaking, after Kylian Mbappe's departure, do you think that it's been easier for you to play at PSG?
Non, je me le répète souvent
No,
aussi.
no. This question is often asked to me. With Kylian Mbappe, maybe I don't know what would have happened had he had stayed, but I think that Kylian had a dream, and his dream was to go and play Real Madrid. We have parted ways, but PSG, we are continuing. There will be an before, during, and an after the Kylian Mbappe, and now we're just focusing on us, on our team, and the season that we want to put off. On your right, please, I'm going to ask a question in Spanish. So I just wanted to ask you, what is the influence that Luis Enrique has had to get to this wonderful version of Ousmane Dembele that we have now? What did he do in order to model you? How were you able to get to the version that you are today? So since the very beginning, when I met Luis, when I first was able to sit down and chat with him, I knew that he trusted me. I knew that he put his faith in me, and the number 9, it's a very central number 9. It's a role or a position role that I'm used to playing. I think that I can adapt well to, and I have been able to adapt well to this position. I've got a lot of freedom to move on the right, to move on the left flank if I need to and if I want to. It's a position that I enjoy playing. It's about creating uncertainty for the opponent. Sometimes you can be in front of the defensive line, sometimes you're playing behind them, sometimes it's about just driving them crazy, really. And it's a position that I love playing and I've been able to adapt to. Let's now move on to the questions for Marquinhos, please. Good evening. I'm José from L'Équipe. Hi, Marquis. So you've already been to a Champions League final with PSG, and I know that there have been lots of highs and lows with this club. So what is Luis Enrique doing to help you guys through the emotional aspect? Because we know that sometimes been the thorn in your side. Sometimes you guys are winning and you lose that lead. Is this something that has he a miracle worker? I don't know. But I don't know if it's about keeping your calm. But what has he done to ensure that you guys are in the best conditions possible for tomorrow? Good evening, everyone. He's got a very important role within our squad. Since the get-go, he's always not only just worked on the tactical side of football, not only on the physical side of football, but also the mental side of things. It's about having emotional control during the 90 minutes of the game, have good emotional control so that we're able to get the results that we want. He's been working with us on this since he got to the club. And if you look at the season that we've had, if you look at even the hard times that we've had, we've been through some tough times, we've been able to completely turn over games sometimes. And this is also thanks to the work that Luis Enrique has done with us since arriving at the club. We've had lots of discussions this week. He's prepared us across the board for the final tomorrow, and I think that we are ready and raring to go for whatever Inter Milan throws at us tomorrow. We want to take home the silverware. It's that one final haul, but obviously anything can happen in this type of fixture. But we're ready for whatever happens and whatever is thrown our way. Thank you. Hi, Marquinhos. I'm over here for Radio France. The squad, the PSG squad, has been spoken about a lot, and your teammate Ousmane Dembele. What is the role that he plays individually within the team and tomorrow in the final? He knows exactly what he needs to do. He plays a very important role. He's one of the leaders in the team, not just because he's up front, but also in his demeanor, in the way that he rallies us up. He has played very well this season, and nothing changes tomorrow. On the pitch, you know exactly what he's capable of doing. I see him in training day in, day out. You only see him on match days, but I'm delighted to have a smart player. And he said as well, you have to be very sneaky, very smart, very intelligent. You need to use the spaces, you need to manipulate spaces in front of the defense, behind the defense. And he's someone who is very difficult to defend again. And we're going to use him to the best of our ability. But it's not just about Ousmane Dembele. There are other players on the pitch, and there will be other players on the pitch tomorrow. It's about a team effort. It's about us playing together, myself, and then Ousmane and the others, and we're going to knuckle down, and that's what's going to help us win tomorrow. This is what the coach instills in us day in, day out. We're about being a team rather than a group of individuals. Hi, Marquis. I've got a question. I'm from L'Équipe. Is this the best PSG team that you've ever played in? Maybe I can't ask you that, but from a pleasure point of view, I'm not asking you to judge your players, but in terms of the joy or the fun that you have, is this a team that you're having the most fun with? Yeah, I would say so. I've lots of people try and compare squads from different eras because I am a veteran now at PSG. But this team is we enjoy playing together. We enjoy playing our games. We know how to play together. We understand each other on the pitch, off the pitch, and I think that this does have an influence on the results that you're seeing coming from PSG at the moment. I'm in love with this team, and I'm in love with everything that we do on the pitch and off the pitch, and it's a delight to be part of the squad.
Bonsoir Marquis, Adrien Chantegrelet du
Good
Parisien.
evening, Adrien from Le Parisien. We know that it can be quite drawn out evening, the eve of a Champions League final. So what are you going to do this evening? Have you got the same routine, the same program? Are you shaking things up about? Are you going to lend an ear to the younger players? The context is slightly different. If I compare this final to the last final, even socially speaking, last time we played behind closed doors, it was to an empty stadium. It was a completely different competition. But on a personal note, I know that there are things that help me prepare. There are things that leave me where I need to be. There's no secret. Eat well, sleep well, take care of yourself before going to sleep so that you're in fighting form the next day. I will be there to chat to my teammates to see if there's anything that we need to add to that routine. But the details have been ironed out. Everyone is ready. Everyone knows what they're doing. It's just about riding it out now until kickoff tomorrow, 9 p.m. We're trying not to put too much pressure on our newer players. The best thing that we can do is just to find that balance. It's not about having so much motivation, because that can also leave room for error. We want everyone to be motivated, and that's why I said everyone is ready. Everyone feels that after the season that we've lived together, and also last year with the coach who's been preparing us for a Champions League final. So now there's nothing really left to be done apart from wait for kickoff tomorrow and try and take home the silverware.
Bonsoir Marquinhos.
Good evening, Marquinhos. Philippe from RTL. You spoke about pressure just a couple of minutes ago. 12 years now that you've been at PSG, and we know that that holy grail is to take the Champions League home. There have been other sessions where maybe the pressure, the Champions League pressure, has stopped you going to meeting that potential. Do you think that that PSG has changed in the way that you take on competition? Do you think there is more maturity and less negative pressure that has come over the course of time? Yeah, I think that the club understands how we should be taking on these types of matches, these types of competitions. We've also understood where we need to invest, what we need to do. We've got new training facilities, we've got new staff as well that have come in, and I think that the mix of all of this, all of the work that's being done on the sidelines, that I've seen since I've been here, I've seen the club improve, I've seen the club grow. We've also got a collective effort that has allowed for us to be in the best conditions possible to play the final. We've got an exceptional coach as well. He's made sure that we're where we need to be. Even though we may be quite a young team, we are ready to take on tomorrow's game. I think it's a mix of lots of different things that have allowed us to get to this point. The club that's grown, the incredible coach that we have, the work that we've done on being intelligent players, high quality players, and I think that the proof is in the pudding. Thank you very much, Baptiste. For you tomorrow against Inter Milan. This will be the first time that you're playing your two central forwards. What does this mean for you?
On a travaillé pendant la semaine, quelque chose pour
No, we worked on this during the week.
bien confronter ce petit détail
We wanted to. We've analysed the opponents, but we're ready for whatever comes up tomorrow. Defensively speaking,
juste un système à défendre. Je pense que nous on a beaucoup
it's just a different formation, but we've been able to improve a lot since the coach has come in. He has been working with the different formations that our opponents have. But that's always the case. As soon as you have one team that's come up against another, it's about adapting your defense to how the other team plays. So if it's a two-man front line or a three-man front line, it's just about adapting to that. We've actually had a couple of teams, maybe not with the same quality that these two attackers have, and maybe not, but we have come up against two forwards. It's just about tweaking things, that no, it's not a huge overhaul that we need for tomorrow. We know where our strengths lie, and we are going to try and work to our strengths. We've got our philosophy, Milan has their philosophy, so they're going to obviously try and give us a run for their money. We're going to try and do the same. But for us, we're hoping for a positive result tomorrow. Hi, Marquinhos. I'm just in front of you. I just want to jump off the same question. Do you think that Inter Milan is the type of opponent that you haven't actually come up across? We've got players that have already been in Champions League finals 2 years ago, actually. And do you think that this makes them a more dangerous, if not the most dangerous opponent that you've come across this season? We've had everything in the kitchen sink thrown at us this season. Maybe if you're still talking about the formation, maybe we haven't come across this formation before, but we've been in sticky situations, we've had complicated games, and I think we're prepared for this. We're ready. We know what their strengths are, we know what Inter's strengths are. I also think that Inter have analysed our formation and the mobility that we have, the forwards that we have. We've got players that play into depth, they jump back, they break up, they're able to lose their markers. This is something that is part and parcel of football. Our coaches prepared us, and tomorrow we are going to show. We're going to iron out those creases so that we're able to be 100% ready on the pitch tomorrow. And as I mentioned as well, we are also going to play to our strengths. We know what our strengths are so that we're able to showcase these. There are things that we can implement so that we can put them to the post. There's a last question for Marquinhos over here. Marquinhos, I'm from Portugal and I'm going to be asking my question in Italian.
I wanted to ask you about the head coach. He's completely changed the direction of travel for this squad. So what's happened with Luis Enrique over the course of this season? And what are you expecting tomorrow night?
Mi rispondo in francese.
I'll answer in French, okay?
Je réponds en français.
So I'll be answering in French if that's okay. I'm sorry for the Italians in the room.
Je pense que je suis ici, ça fait un moment, c'est vrai.
We've been here I've been here rather for a little while now at PSG. There are lots of things that have changed since I joined the club. I think that the team has grown. We've been through highs, we've been through lows. Tomorrow, we've got a beautiful opportunity. We could go down in history. This would be great for the club, for the players. This is my second chance to win a Champions League final, and I'm not going to go down without a fight. I think that all of the players are ready, they're motivated. We're going to pull out the best performance of a lifetime tomorrow on the pitch, because it will be very difficult. And actually, we've had to fight tooth and nail to get to the final. We've done everything we can to get to the final of the Champions League. This is the best moment of our season. It's that cherry on the top, and it's up to us now to do what we need to do to take the silverware back to Paris so that we can share this with our family who have supported us over the season and with everyone else. I think the club has evolved a lot, and I'm very happy. I'm delighted to see how we've been able to grow and everything that we've been through together. I've also grown a lot with the club, and this is why there's so much respect and so much shared history between me and PSG. The time is of the essence now, and we are going for the silverware tomorrow, and we're going to take it home. Thank you very much.
C'est la traduction en espagnol aussi.
Ok.
Magali, ¿dónde estás? Oh, Francia. Muy bien. Vale.
On peut y aller pour vos questions à Luis Enrique.
Let's start with questions for Luis Enrique. Hi, I'm C Sport Fabrice. So with this type of game, they tend to be quite easy to deal with because your players will be motivated. With Ousmane and Marquinhos, we're talking about keeping a cool head and emotional control. Is this really what you've been focusing on this week? So more emotional control than motivation?
Buenas noches.
Good evening.
Que, como somos un equipo que está relativamente acostumbrado a jugar
This is
alguna que otra final,
a team that is actually quite used to playing finals. These are situations that we've already been in, that we've already experienced. So, yeah, motivation and the mental aspects of things are very important, but we're used to this.
Bonsoir coach, Vincent Duluc.
Good evening, Vincent from L'Equipe. So you've actually sent 3 English team home, and now you're hoping to send an Italian team packing. Has it been difficult to adapt to another football culture?
no adaptarse a otra cultura porque
No, not really. It's not about adapting to another culture because football culture is universal. You've got different styles of play, maybe, and everyone plays to their strengths and to different features. But it goes without saying that over the course of our journey, we came up against Brest, and then we came up against 3 English teams, and now an Italian team. Italian team that is well known to us. We know just how competitive they are. We know exactly what Italian football is made of. They're a team that is a well-oiled machine. They have great possession. It's very difficult to take the ball off them, and when they don't have the ball, they defend very well. They're a very comprehensive team. Over here, please. So you haven't actually come up against a team like Inter this week. What are your expectations, and do you think that you'll have possession of the ball tomorrow? Thank you.
pues la idea es prepararse a cualquier tipo de partido que se dé.
The idea is to prepare ourselves as best we can. It's a final. The results will condition the attitude of both teams. I think that we know exactly how to deal with this. We've been doing this all season. We're prepared for this, and we're going to try and obviously play to our strengths where we think we're the best. I'm from Le Parisien. You are playing up against a formation with 2 forwards tomorrow. Is this something that has changed the way that you've prepared, or is it not that important?
Sí que cambia, evidentemente.
Yeah, obviously it changes something, yes. Especially when you need to press, because the positioning of the 2 players Inter has good ball movement, and therefore we're going to have our eye on the ball. We aren't going to change anything in the way that we defend or attack, but obviously there are nuances here for some of the players and some of the positions. We're going to have to maybe be a little bit more attentive to what the 2 of them are doing. But each match is different. It's not the same playing against Arsenal, Aston Villa, City or Liverpool, and just as it's not the same thing playing against Inter Milan, but it's an objective that we have every single game. Good evening, Joanie from L'Equipe. Marquinhos and Ousmane were here just before you. They were singing your praises. Within this season, you've actually been at PSG for 2 years now. Are you able to talk about your relationship with the group? Have you asked yourself questions? Have you doubted your management? Because we feel that you guys are in perfect harmony now.
Ha sido la misma simbiosis desde el primer día. Otra cosa es que no lo queráis ver.
We've had this harmony since the get-go. Maybe it's something that you guys didn't want to see, but I have my way of doing things. I haven't changed anything, and I've always had this wonderful relationship with my players. I don't like what you're saying, because, okay, so maybe if we'd have won last year, I would have. No, I'm the same. I'm the same person since the get-go, since last season. Nothing has changed, and I've got an exceptional squad. I've got very high-level players, and I've always seen the glass as being half full. I play to their strengths. I know what I try and get them to improve both individually, but and also as a team. That's my objective. But it's been my objective since day one.
¿Qué tal? Acá, de Luis Enrique, aquí abajo, Hugo Ramírez de Televisa Univisión.
A question. So you said that it's your second season with PSG. If I may, this has allowed us to maybe get to know you a little bit better now that we've had different conferences with you. Ousmane and Maki, they came off the stage and we saw how they were with you, but what are you like as a coach? What is your energy, and what is it going to be like for you 10 years after the final in 2015? You, Luis Enrique, how are you going to take on this game against another institution, and with an institution that is PSG, once again in Germany, but in Munich this time? Yeah, and we're coming up against the Italian team. There are different situations in football. Sometimes things are completely random, but I have peace of mind. Peace of mind thanks to my maturity. I've got 10 years more experience than last time. I'm 10 years older as well. I've been working non-stop for 10 years now, and I try and share this with my players and my team because it is such a wonderful opportunity that they have to play in a Champions League final. They're going to be able to make history. And when you're talking about making history, it's about doing something that no club has done before you, or no one in the club has done before you. And we're talking about the PSG. And I want to ensure that we don't let our emotions get the better of us. With my team, I love the session, I love their mindset, and I think that we're where we need to be. That Inter Milan obviously will be as well, there's no doubt about that. But we're going to try and put our best foot forward and win tomorrow. Sports Brazil, do you think that Inter Milan could win tomorrow because they lost the final 2 years ago, and you've also got stress to deal with? Do you think that the fact that stress is going to come into play? There are always two ways to read the book. You could see things from one side or the other side. It's very difficult to predict in football what's going to happen. I think that it's important to have experience, and in other things, it's all relative. I think that what makes us as a team, and the message that I want to be sharing with my boys, is that our journey has been difficult. It's been a long and winding road. We've had to pull out all the stops from the very get-go. But the fact that we struggled through it is probably an advantage for us now, because we are used to playing these final type games. We had to play against Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich is one of the best teams in Europe, and throughout our Champions League journey, we've had to play these finals. We've had to always anticipate what's being thrown at us. Therefore, we're ready. We have not shown any signs of fear up until now, rather, and it won't be the case tomorrow.
Aquí, perdón.
Over here, please. Good evening. I am from Mexico, and I just wanted to ask you, I read a statement that actually you made a couple of weeks ago. You said, I'm hard when I need to be and permissive when I had to be. Nobody was here, but obviously within the group, you had a lot of decisions to make, including the decision that you made about Dembélé last year, which turned out to be one of the best decisions that you've ever made. So do you think that it's thanks to that Dembélé is completely spectacular and he's now in the running for the Ballon d'Or? I've got one of the best teams, and when it comes to how a coach manages his squad, it's that there's only one objective, and the objective is to ensure that everyone's fighting for the same thing. That's why it's important for us to have the right personalities on the pitch to achieve that goal. Sometimes we do have discussions as things are controversial, but then it's up to the coach, and coaches are always taking difficult decisions. So you can get it wrong. I'm not saying you get it right all the time, but I think that over the course of my career, I feel very comfortable with all the decisions taken.
Yes. Yes.
Lewis, Ollie Foster from BBC Sport here. I wonder if you might be able to give us an answer in English, if possible, for the benefit of English broadcasters. You've broken quite a few English hearts over the last 2 months. We've spoken to a lot of your supporters here in Munich. They just feel that it's meant to be this match tomorrow for them, because 5 years ago they couldn't be there, and this is why they're here now. The previous 4 finals here in the city, they've all gone to first-time winners. Do you get this gut feeling? Can you give us an impression of just how special this would be for you and your supporters?
Well, I don't know. I hope it's going to happen again. But I have to say, if you think about the level of the Premier League teams, we can see the final of Europa League and also the Conference League, winning for English teams. We had to play against them many times this season, and I think it was tough, really tough. But at the same time, we could analyze and enjoy playing our football against them, and I think we deserve to get that final. Yeah, that's it. I think we are ready. I hope we can get it, and that's our plan, our idea, and yeah, we'll see in the future.
Buenas tardes, Luis. Diego Torres, del País. Siempre llevas unos meses insistiendo en que entre todos, de forma colectiva, se pueden meter más goles.
You've been talking about the fact that collectively we can go further, we can score more goals than when we're thinking about just one top goal scorer. So tomorrow, I imagine that it's a situation that you've not come up against for a little while. We're talking here about a very tight-knit defense. They've got 3 centre-backs. What is for you the biggest challenge for tomorrow with this? When you've got this type of defense, what is the biggest challenge? Because obviously it's a psychological battle as well as a tactical battle. So what will be the biggest difficulty? Well, it's very simple. When you've got a team that is able to have that tight-knit, compact block, there's a high density of players and there is not a lot of space, which is the case against any team that plays like this. But my team is used to playing against opponents like this. We know how to unpick them. We know how to get that tight-knit defense to unravel, and that's what we're going to do. Where's the issue? The issue is that Inter Milan is a team that has a lot of high-level individual players both up front and down the back, and that's how they've got to the final. This is why they got to the final 2 years ago, and that really is what's going to be difficult for us, I think. But everything can change. You can have one early goal which completely changes the course of the game. Therefore, it's up to us to adapt and to play the final from the very beginning to the very end. And I'm very optimistic.
Lewis, hello. Carrie Brown, BeanymanSports. Another one in English, if you wouldn't mind, please. Ousmane Dembele said he has a serious face when he's preparing for a big match, but he's smiling inside, and he was particularly happy and talking about the trust you gave him, moving him into the central role. In 6 seasons in Spain, he'd only scored 24 goals. Since the turn of this year, he's scored 25. How much has he given you enjoyment in your role, and how important is it to you that he stressed first, it is about us and the team and not I?
Yeah, of course, because that's our mentality, and we know how to grow with that mentality, trying to play in an individual way. It's a different thing. I think as a team we can solve those problems in the past, and we can improve our level And of course, Ousmane Dembele has been one of the best players of the season, if not the best one. He scored, he passed, he fight, he defends. And that's the real mentality. That's a leader. A real leader is the guy who shows with his example the way to go. And yeah, it's so nice for me to hear Ousmane, to give him confidence to develop his qualities. And yeah, as a real team, we are going to try to win tomorrow all together.
Dernière question pour Luis Enrique.
Buenas noches, Luis, por acá.
Just one last question. Luis, over here, please.
Te quería preguntar en el renglón individual con todos los títulos.
Once again from Mexico, I just wanted to ask you maybe a personal question rather. With all the different titles that you've won, given the context, do you think that this is probably your most important individual win? No. The motivation for me is to win the Champions League for the first time for PSG. This is the gift I want to give to the team, to the club, to the city. And the fact that we would be the first in history in Paris to do this, that's what's driving me. That's what's getting me raring to go. I feel very lucky to be here, sat here, and to be able to make the most of the game tomorrow. And I'll take whatever football gives us tomorrow, but we're going to be giving 110% tomorrow, not only for the teams, but also for the